I mean, political parties in other countries which have their mouthpiece,
yes,
official mouthpiece, that's fine. But these are papers masquerading, pretending to be independent newspapers.
They are not independent newspapers. That's why many people know where they are. I mean, if you don't know where they're coming from, then you don't know what you're about.
What about the independent, the so-called independent ones that are not really independent?
Oh, I believe that along the line, you may have a blend of their views. But when it comes to certain lines, you have to draw them. I mean, it comes at a cost. But hey, I mean, if you are eating, it's at a risk. You can choke to death.
It comes at a cost.
Yes.
What cost?
Well, it comes at a cost that you get to a place, people are talking, they shut up.
I mean, people will make up their minds about that.
Yes, but too bad. But the view is that you must at any point in time walk with your conscience clear that you want to serve the country called Ghana and Ghanaians. Then you are free. You can't please everybody. You end up pleasing nobody.
What about radio? What do you think of radio? I mean, there are people on radio that are, there's no question that radios move forward. There are great things happening on radio. But there's also a lot of unprofessionalism. People laughing at people running radio like it's they're at home.
I think that my greatest worry about radio is the phone-in aspect. And I mean, that we met the security officials for a chat with the media. And we've suggested to them that as part of the security measures, they should have the radio stations buy equipment that gives you the presenter, I think, about 10-15 seconds delay to cut off people. The greatest danger to radio is phone-ins and the potential of people who phone in whipping up sentiments that could run the country aground. The greatest danger is that. And if you can have that mechanism to sort things out.
What about training of journalists? Isn't that part of the problem? That really, there are some people that are, you know, out there that really are not supposed to be there.
Oh, training, yes. But you see, there is something that you can't get from training. Hands-on experience. I'm not a trained journalist. Yokubaku is not. Kofi Kumsin is not. We may have our faults. But I believe that training is one, and hands-on experience in print or electronic is another. That I think is very important. And you see, I think that the Ghanaian market, you know, the explosion of the electronic media and the print is like a honeymoon period between us and the public. I believe within the next year and a half, I think by 2004, many newspapers, news stations' ratings will go down because people, it's like a year after change of government, there are things that will come up. But then people get fed up. I mean, there's going to be that fatigue. Oh, I'm tired of those switch off or turn the dial or just not buy the newspaper.
What about television? What is your view? Television doesn't seem really to have
to be part of the game. Regret that the television stations we have can be pushed. I mean, in 1986, I used to do freelance for GBC. And they banned me from entering GBC because I interviewed somebody who criticized the Rawlings administration. I interviewed 8 people on criticized Rawlings administration, and they banned me from entering GBC. Now look at what GBC, if you tune to Unique FM, you won't believe that it's a state-owned energy. And because of the competition from the private electronic media. So I think television, if you have 2 or 3 more television stations, I believe we'll see an improved programming.
But in terms of the professionalism, you think it's improved or is worse?
I believe that is worse. I believe it's worse. I think that there's the need to, and that improvement will come about when there's competition. And now we have 2 or 3, and I don't think it's good enough.
There's not much of that problem now, is there, that there was in the past? You know, the whole state-owned on one side, private on one side. Or is there that problem really?
No, I think that problem has submerged. I mean, there were conscious efforts to knock our heads together. Unfortunately, they succeeded to a point.
But that is not the case with this government.
No, that is not the case. They can't do it. It's not going to be possible. They can't do it. I mean, the last 2-3 years of Rawlings administration, they find it impossible.
Why?
Oh, because they fooled us for some time. We got wiser. So I don't think any government can come and do that to the media anymore.
What do you think of the relationship that this government has with the media? There are some that say that it's too rosy. It is too rosy. This is the media. It should be independent, stand aside, be objective, and principled.
You see, in the Rawlings administration, we had journalism being rosy with Rawlings. Divana Glate was head of GBC, made a ambassador to Togo. Ekwa Dansa was a journalist, was with the DCE. I mean, the only difference was that those rosy aspects were more with the state-owned media. And this government rosiness is more with the private-owned media.
But the fact remains that towards the end of the Rawlings administration,
yes,
the relationship between it and the media, there was no rosiness anywhere.
But this government, the only 10 months in office, Rawlings was in power for how many years? 19.
So you're saying it might become less rosy over time?
Oh, but you see, still it's not have a rosy time. 5 days into coming to office, we gave him help for going to Togo. Sahara came, Edumazi came.
But do you really,
the MP
do
who
you really believe that the journalists now are being sufficiently objective and critical?
Oh yes, let me tell you something. There's no way President Kufuor will go and stay somewhere and insult somebody Jimakla or go and turn a taxi. If he does it, you get a harsher treatment.
So the point I want to drag. So there is, without question, a link between the
behavior.
way absolutely
Yes.
the way the people in public office behave
Definitely.
and the response they get.
Yes, definitely. It's not in isolation.
Corrupt practices, people taking money and writing things. How do you get rid of that sort of thing?
I believe that you can only get rid of it when those who pay the monies have their fingers bent rather badly. See, corrupt parties get taking money to write stories. It's like being blackmailed. There's no end to it. You know, and I mean, you get a story, somebody comes with an envelope, please don't. I tell them, mind you, there are 20 private newspapers. There are 6 radio stations. This money that you are paying to me, I'm going to pay that to everybody. Keep it and go to court.
So the journalists must feel really powerful now.
Not that we feel powerful. It's the public that should feel powerful.
But the fact remains, Mr. Ephson, that journalists now are in many ways riding high.
No. I don't see the difference.
You don't feel that
I
people...
Don't
you think people have become a lot more afraid of journalists, respectful of them and so on, because they feel they wield a lot of power?
That's the perception that people should get rid of. Because, I mean, if we've been against soldiers...
Journalists can call people wherever they are and say, even if they're in the bathroom, you're on the line, I want to talk to you, and people just talk. They have too frightened not to talk.
I feel sorry for those people. Because I think that if you say the politician should go by rules and regulations, the soldier should not misbehave with his uniform, and the police, why should you? Because I have a pen. They should take us on. I mean, I'm a journalist.
How do they take you on? They don't own a newspaper. I mean, you can go away from here now and write a whole lot of nasty things about me because of what I've said. How do I take you on?
Go to court? Go to media commission? Do you think that everybody agrees with me? No.
The damage is done.
Damage is done.
You published it already. You said all kinds of things about me.
Yes.
Then quietly I'm going to media commission and all that.
I'm saying that, you see, I put something about the joy. The pain we suffer is that there are opportunities.